The topic for today is integration, and let's quickly look at what integration is all about. Firstly, before we can talk about integration, let's quickly define differentiation. Now, if you have a function f of x and you want to know the rate at which this your function is changing with respect to x, that rate of that function is known as differentiation. So if I give you a function and you can tell me the rate at which that function is changing with respect to any variable, that is called the differential. So if you are given a differential and you are asked to get that function back, what you have to do is to integrate that function. So in other words, I can say that integration is the process of getting back your function after it has been differentiated. Anyway, so that means that integration is the opposite of differentiation. That's what it just simply means. For instance, if I give you a function as x squared and I ask you to differentiate this function, of course you tell me that the y over the x is 2x. Now, if I give you this 2x that was differentiated and I ask you what was the initial function, what you have to do is to integrate 2x and you will have x squared back. So that's the whole idea of integration. But all right, then let's look at the basic rules of integration. So basic rules of integration. What are the basic rules when you want to integrate? The first one, which is the integration formula. When you are giving, let's say, a function, okay, let me use something that will be more understandable. If you're giving a function to integrate, what it means is integrate this function with respect to x. So this is the symbol of integration. So I'm telling you to integrate whatever this is rather, with respect to x. So if I say the a with respect to a, if I say the b with respect to b, the y with respect to y, and so on and so forth. So this is with respect to x. Okay, so what do? The formula for integration is integrate a function with respect to x. So this is the same thing as this. But here, a is the coefficient of x. Okay, n is the power of x. Okay, so when I say a n x, it can be anything. A n x, it can be maybe 2x raised to the power of 3. It can be 3x raised to the power of 4. It can be 2x raised to the power of anything. It can be anything. It can even be x raised to the power of maybe 4. Of course, if I don't write any coefficient here, you should know that the coefficient here is 1. Okay? So basically, you can come in anyway. So if you're giving something to integrate, what do? You just do it this way. This is the same thing as you bring your function or your variable back down. The variable here is x. X, the power, as long as the power is not minus 1. So the power must not be minus 1. If you are integrating, please, your power here must not be minus 1. We'll get to the reason why that is like that later. Okay, so your answer will now be n plus 1, a is here, all over n plus 1 plus a constant. Now, this is the basic rule of integration. So when you are giving something to integrate, right, you put your coefficient back, you put your variable back. Now, the power, you are going to add it plus 1. Remember, in differentiation, you do -1, but in integration, you do +1. All over n plus 1. Then you have to put plus constant. Always, if you are removing this integral sign, always put plus constant to show that you have removed the integral sign. So this is basic rule of integration. Let me show you what I mean. All right, let me do an example. If I tell you to integrate maybe x squared with respect to x, right? You are going to do, you put this, of course, there's 1 here. I wouldn't write the 1. I'll just write x 2 plus 1 all over 2 plus 1. Are you seeing that thing? So whatever the power is, you do it here and you do it over that same thing plus your constant. Okay, so this is your answer. X raised to the power of 3 over 3 plus c. Of course, you can write it as 1 over 3 x raised to the power of 3 plus c. So it's as easy as this. This is basic rule of integration. Okay, let me do another one here. Example 2, example 1. What if I say integrate 3x squared with respect to x? How do you do it? Using the same method. You can say, if you are removing the integral, of course, this is called indefinite integral because there are no limits. Okay? If you see this integral, this kind of integral, where they just give you integral like this, there is no limit, there is nothing, I didn't write any numbers here, so there is no limit. So it's called indefinite integral. Indefinite integral. Okay? So let's do this. This is 3x. Okay, so what do we do to the power? 2 plus 1 all over 2 plus 1 plus c. Okay? So this becomes 3x raised to the power of 3 over 3 plus c. 3 can easily cancel 3. So your answer is x raised to the power of 3 plus c. Maybe in one other video, I'm going to show you why we always put plus c. But for now, just know that when you are integrating any function, you always put plus c at the back of the answers. All right. So with this knowledge, can you try to do this one? Integrate 5x raised to the power of 4 dx. Please tell me what answer you got. So we're able to do our basic integration, right? So let us look at integration of constant. Let's look at integration of constant. Of course, if you are in my class and we are differentiating a constant, I'll always tell you that if you differentiate a constant, you get 0, right? So if you have a function that is any constant, mind the constant I'm talking about here is something like a number, maybe 2, 3, right? And I ask you to get the y over the x. You always tell me that it is 0, right? So what happens if you integrate this constant? What happens when you integrate a constant? When you integrate any constant, let's say 3 dx, you can see that this 3 does not have any variable, unlike the one we just finished. It does not have any variable. So if you are integrating a constant, you have to put that variable 3x plus c. You can see 3 becomes 3x plus c. But how did we get the 3x plus c? All right, let's look at it. How did we get 3x plus c? So I said a constant, which is ordinary 3. All right, this becomes 3x raised to the power of 0. Because there is no variable here, we can say our variable is raised to the power of 0 because anything raised to the power of 0, when that thing is not 0, anything raised to the power of 0 is what? 1. So 1 times 3 will still give us 3. Is that not so? So 3x raised to the power of 0 integrate it with respect to x. So let's see what we have. We have 3x 0 plus 1 all over 0 plus 1 plus c. What is 0 plus 1? 1. So it's the same thing as saying 3x raised to the power of 1 over 1 plus c. Can you see that we still have our 3x plus c? So if you have a constant, they ask you to integrate a constant, just do 3x plus c. If it is 4, 4x plus c. If it is 5, 5x plus c, and so on and so forth. But if they ask you to differentiate a constant, it turns to 0. So that is why integration and differentiation are not, they are reverse of each other, they are opposite of each other. Having said that, if you're given something to integrate, another thing you can easily do is you can bring all constants outside the integral sign. What do I mean? You can do it like this. You can also do it like this. If you have a constant inside your integral, you can bring it outside. You can say this is the same thing as 3 can come out, and what remains inside is just x0 dx. You still have your answer because you are focusing on the variable and all constants is of no use inside the integral enclosure. So this becomes 3x raised to the power of 0 plus 1 over 0 plus 1 plus c, 3x plus c. Still the same answer. So if I give you something to solve for me, and there's a constant and there's an integral, the constant is inside the integral, you can bring the constant outside and then integrate the variable. Finally, let us look at integration of algebra. Integration of algebra is just a combination of what I just said about basic integration and of constant. For instance, if you have an example, let me say example 1 that looks like this. Now look at the board. What do we have on the board? We have integrate 3x squared plus 4x plus 5 with respect to x. It looks big, right? It's not really big. If you have something like this, that is, you have a combination of different algebras, right? That is separated by plus or minus. It's very simple. What you have to do is just integrate them one after the other. So I will integrate the 3x squared with respect to x. I will also integrate 4x with respect to x, and we integrate 5 with respect to x. This is simply what it means. Okay? So if you have something like this, what do? If you integrate this, we have 3x2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1. Then also plus 4x1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 and 5x0 plus 1 over 0 plus 1. All of them plus c. So this will give me 3x raised to the power of 3 over 3 plus 4x squared over 2 plus 5x over 1 plus c. What can cancel? 3 can cancel 3. 2 here 1, 2 here 2. Okay, that one is okay like that. So we have x raised to the power of 3 plus 2x squared plus 5x plus c. So this is simply your answer. This is called integration of algebra, just integrating them one after the other. Okay, so I'm going to give us a little classwork for us to do. Let's see if we can do them. All right, look at the board. You guys should try this one. Number 1, number 2, number 3, it should be easy. In number 3, I have square root of x, and according to the laws of indices, square root of x is x raised to the power of half. So please try these 3 and let's see whether you understand this little integration or this introduction to integration. Of course, just like we have an indefinite integral, we also have definite integral. And I'll do that in another video. We also have integral of 1 over x. What does it mean? Remember, I told you that your power should not be minus 1. So when your power is minus 1, what is the integral? In fact, let me just tell you. When your power is minus 1, the integral of anything 1 over x is called ln x. So if you see anything like 1 over x, the answer is ln x plus c. We'll do that in another video. We'll also do definite integral in another video. And most importantly, we have method of integration. Okay, so this is called direct integration. This one I taught you is direct integration. There is also integration by substitution, integration by parts, integration by partial fractions, and integration of trigonometric identities. So by the time we do those videos, I believe you will be able to understand everything about integration. But first of all, learn this one and tell me what answer you've gotten. Thank you.